Hey guys, it's Suicam, and I'm going to show the A Realm Reborn demo scene, that video that they made. And a thing about the Final Fantasy XIV game is the version that I'm playing is actually the second iteration of this MMO. There was a 1.0 that came out, and apparently it was so bad that they wound up nuking the game. Literally. So, one thing I did not realize when I was going through the main story was all the stuff they talked about, like the 7th Umbral Calamity, and there's this guy named Lusue, or whatever, Luswa, and, how he sacrificed himself and all this stuff, and the Heroes of Light and all of that. That actually happened in the game. I thought that was just something that they made for, the story set up for the MMO. But that was actually the story from the first iteration of the game. And in the playlist I've already made, there's a guy who explained, what the first story was. Because apparently a whole bunch of stuff happened that I didn't really get context for when I was playing. So go watch that. And then that'll lead directly into this cutscene that I'm about to play. And I'm going to try and describe it the best I can. A lot of stuff is going on very quickly, so I may not be able to really describe it very well. Just kind of a quick summary so you can get an idea of all the, explosions and things that, what's going on. Is there's a giant war going on, and someone decided it was a great idea to summon Bahamut. And if you don't know who Bahamut is, he is an elemental, and he's basically a giant badass dragon. And he's kind of like, the boss. I don't know if he's like the boss of the other elementals, but he's high up there. He is not some guy you want to mess with. And then I believe they summoned Meteor, and so basically a lot of the explosions and things are part of the people, the sides fighting each other. Well, of course, the end of the world is coming, and so they decide that they're going to go fight while Bahamut's killing everybody. So that's basically what's going on, because, again, you'll hear a lot of explosions and things, and, again, there's a lot of little action scenes happening very quickly. Someone will quickly turn around and slice some guy. Next thing, there's a scene of a girl, who's a wizard, who shoots magic at somebody, and all that happens within, a split second, So just little kind of description of what's going on there, but I'll try to describe it the best I can. Alright, so Realm Reborn demo. We're high up in the sky amongst the clouds. We see a single comet soar through the clouds. And another, leaving a trail of red and orange, pretty ominous, and more. Oh, now there's a bunch. And there's Meteor in the sky, raining down a whole bunch of comets onto the planet. And Meteor's got some kind of giant-looking sword thing stuck in the middle of it that's fractured. But it's fractured in a very straight-line way, like if it was made of squares. And you see the townspeople looking in the sky as the meteors crash down to Earth. Or whatever they're... I think it's Eorzea? Crash down to Eorzea. One crashes down to the forest. And way far away from that, we are in the middle of the battle. In like a... kind of like a deserty looking area. And we see two armies head towards each other and they clash. We see the heroes on top of the mountain looking down, and we see the general of the army of the bad guys high in the sky in like a blimp. Someone cast fireball and hurled it towards the other side. The guy's clad in, heavy armor, wielding giant axes, swinging at each other. One of the warriors lifts up his mask as he looks towards Meteor, which almost cost him his life. A mage, I think, put a protective shield around one of her allies. More warriors slashing people with axes, and you see some kind of like robot thing that, you know, shoots fireballs and stuff and got obliterated. Sid looks up in the sky at Meteor. Sid is a reoccurring character. He's like the Pikachu of Final Fantasy. He's in every game. And one of the swords that was stuck in Meteor just slams down to Earth, and it's a massive sword. I mean, like, skyscraper tall. And with the sword down, the whole thing now just explodes into a fiery inferno. Thus awakening Bahamut, the dragon. Bahamut blasts that meteor, which then just blows all of it everywhere, so it basically accelerated the meteors hitting the Earth and causing just tons of damage. You see geysers of lava spew everywhere. Bahamut flies down. Give a little personal touch to his mayhem as he brings thousands of just like streams of light that he seems to be controlling because they can circle around and stuff, so it's not just a meteor, it's like little balls of light that just stream down. There's thousands of them. He's raining upon everybody. There's nothing they can do but stand helplessly as they watch. One of them hits a blue shield, like a blue magic shield surrounding the Heroes of Light is what they call them. As you see Luswa stand on a mountain holding up his staff as he tries to protect everyone with his blue shield, but Bahamut overwhelms him and shatters the shield. Bahamut hovers in air above him, looking at him like, dare? You see other members of the Scions, which you'll understand the Scions later, but they're praying and trying to, I guess, give support to the Heroes of Light. And Luswa holds up his staff, and like giant blue swords appear, and they stab Bahamut, and they seem to try and encase him in a ball of like dice. That's basically what it looks like. Big ball blue dice. And you can tell they're trying to seal him, but Bahamut's too strong, and he blasts that shit. Just obliterates it. Sid and the other Heroes of Light are just kind of looking helplessly at Bahamut, because what can they do? So Luswa, in a desperate attempt, he teleports the Heroes of Light away from danger, as Bahamut basically just obliterates everyone, and Luswa just looks at the carnage and just smiles as he is engulfed in flames. Square Enix. We're now in a forest, I believe. Chocobo, which are, if you don't know, are basically like giant chickens that people ride, like horses. So instead of riding horses, they ride giant bird-like creatures. They're basically just like chickens. Or I guess more akin to like ostriches. They basically ride giant yellow ostriches. You see a whole bunch of them too. See a young, excited girl running on a pier, overlooking the ocean. See someone else in a forest. Oh yeah, these are the Scions. There's like a... I forget what their names are. But yeah, there's a girl with a mask and a Lalafell. And Lalafels are basically like little midgets. They're tiny, tiny little peoples. That's Thancred. I remember Thancred. I'll describe what all these people look like when I get to them in the story. But Thancred looks and turns away and leaves. Some dude clad in heavy black armor riding a black armor-laden horse, walking around the middle of the night with a big white moon in the background. So type of ferocious monster that's like black and hairy with two big horns on the top of its head. I think that's a crystal tower. I just got to the crystal tower part. The heroes of light appear in the middle of the forest, so they had just been teleported away from the battle. And they look around in confusion and they start talking to each other like, where's Luswa? What the fuck's going on? They run out into the daylight. One of the warriors smiles, he whistles for his chocobo, who comes running. He gets on it and leaps into action, as do the rest of them. Get on their chocobo horse bird things. As they run into the cheery daylight. The horses are, the chocobo are heavy enough that even though they're running on grass, they leave footprints inside the grass. Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn.